Thank you for your patience, guys. This is obviously the DreamHack Winter Showdown coming through, a DreamHack Showdown Winter, I guess. Well, we'll go for that one. But just to let you know, just been told by production, they are 100% sure this will be back underway soon. So don't fear. Do not fear. Any second now. Time is on, ladies and gents. Time is on. Vince, I've just realized, I was realizing that NoFear is a t-shirt brand. And I know we can't really say the word, I'll say Vincel anymore on Twitch, but we both really do look very edgy. I like your Joker poster and I've got Train Spotting behind me. We're the problem, aren't we?
We're 100% the problem, Pans. We came over from COD 4, we brought all of that edginess with us. We polluted CSGO, it's all of our fault.
All right, we are underway. On the T side is NOFEAR5 and Pride on the CT side, leading this series 1-0 and a little bit of Overpass. So looking forward to seeing how this plays out. Big presence towards Underpass and straight through towards those bathrooms.
Bit of aggression, love to see it. Potcha sees the first player hopping up and down. I'll give her a good idea as to what's coming up, but they haven't fully committed behind this, and with no control over connector, Pride can't be 100% sure this is an A hit. Now with these grenades firing in with smokes, mollies, and flashes, they know exactly what's coming up.
Oh, you'd have loved to see Potcha maybe get like a 1 and fade away there, but it was a huge stack towards B. And I don't love the fact this retake is all going to come through bank and by headshot. They are trying to do the little boost, but it seems very much read and aware of by Elizabeth there. So Jammy, a little bold to re-peek into that. But yeah, no one on the flanks. The likes of Fatal obviously going to be looking for that, but no one's there. All going to pour in through the same way. I don't love this. This is going to be very, very rough to make actually stick. And yeah, just Jammy left alive. Vince, I'm not sold by that.
No, neither am I. Jammy still has a lot of ability, but feels like too much time has dwindled away. Even if she can pick up these kills, it won't really end up mattering a great deal. She does have a kit. She's tried to stick to the site, but this is where the close line comes into effect. Great try by Jammy, but I agree. Forcing all 5 players into effectively 2 bottlenecks against Glocks as well, by the way, not normally going to work out for you.
No, I'd have loved to see, considering they had that B stack, and maybe they didn't have full information where the T's were, but I'd love to see maybe 2 of them just trying to work through, or even just 1 trying to go on that flank, keeping someone like Fatal, who obviously was the end of that round, potentially busy. Could have been a big difference. Regardless, we actually have the cleanest eco I've ever seen. Not a flash, not an upgraded pistol. We actually eco out here. Look at that. Wow.
That feels good. I mean, I suppose it's a declaration of the current economic battles and strifes that both teams have, that you typically do have forces or pistols here or there. That's not the case. So yeah, that feels good. I don't think it's necessarily going to bode too well for Pride, though, that being said.
Oh, absolutely
they have
not.
most of their players around bathroom.
I mean, maybe they could overwhelm Fatal here, but it looks like she's very cautious and right to be so. Considering they've taken so much B control, they have to be very aware that there is going to be a stack somewhere. And quite simply put, NOFEAR5 have been going to the right place. The stack has been, sadly, in the wrong site both times now. It's how it goes if you go for these sort of riskier maneuvers. I love this adjustment from Fatal as well, slipping in towards Underpass, ensuring that anyone playing back through would have a rough time. Elizabeth does need to be a little cautious, could get overwhelmed here, but should be fine. They are all kind of congregating down here. There should be a bit of a farm, and it is.
Yep, bullets connecting as expected. Jammy, with 3.2k as a result of getting a 4k in the first round, actually could afford an AWP, and that's going to be quite interesting for me to see if she picks it up. Obviously, this round is a done deal. 5.6k. Does she go for it?
Let's have a look. Maybe talking it through, seeing if it's something they want to go for. Doesn't look like it, so no. Potcha going to be up on the scout instead, and Jammy just going through the motions, well-rounded by as is. But NOFEAR5 do lead this, and they're going to kind of go for a little bit of a bonus round-ish. MRSK and Elizabeth still on those SMGs, the MAC-10s coming out, so expect a bit of pace with this, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Look at these early smokes to garner control towards the bathrooms. I like that.
As do I. It forces out any of these potential stacks as well if they're trying to be cheeky up there with crossfire established early on in the bathrooms or take connector control. It effectively isolates that one player and connector from the rest of their team. So I like it from NOFEAR5, as you highlighted, completely spot on. With these MAC-10s, expect aggression. They've already got 2 players up on the flower bed.
Oof. Victoria going to be put to bed quickly. just having the head ripped off. Jammy kind of in an awkward spot and an awkward shot, but it does pay off in the end, but there's a quick trade. Keep in mind, 2 of the 3 players remaining do still have those MAC-10s, so far from ideal. MRSK is going to switch out for the rifle, kind of picking that one back up, so hopefully has a little bit more bang for the buck. And Pocha going to be playing pretty much, hey, look at me, while my teammate's going to sit towards Optimus and try and get the kills. So Pocha now needs to make sure this crossfire holds. That was a little bit bold there, the jumping shot on it, but a 2v2 nonetheless.
2v2 with a weakened MRSK. Tati and Utopia both coming in. Oh, the spray's good from Tori. That leaves it all on Tati. She knows one of the players still up on the truck, making moves. Sound cue has been heard from MRSK. She can see the shadow. It was so tantalizingly close. Decides to go for the wide swing. As the smoke came down on the truck, it did more harm than good to Tori. Time ticking away. There is enough if Tati can get in on this kill as soon as possible. But the timing of that smoke push is so good. Is there going to be enough time here for Tati to hold on to the site? It's going to be incredibly close. I don't think she has it now. She definitely doesn't have it. So that will still be NOFEAR5 taking it down.
That was close prior to getting closer now, and oof. Again, Tati does feel like she's, good for a clutch, but couldn't quite make it count in the end with that bomb ticking away, and well-bought time on the other side, playing that smoke very well and just kind of biding time. 3-0, NOFEAR5. That was kind of the first real fight back, I feel, that we've had coming in from the likes of the opposition, and I mean, it wasn't a bad effect. I just like what I'm seeing from NOFEAR5. They seem very diligent. But the problem is I've also fallen foul to this. I've believed the NOFEAR5 hype before, and then they kind of throw it away themselves. They hit a bit of a brick wall, but we are seeing the AWP coming out and a lot of early map control being garnered. Wow.
Early control actually starting to turn into something special, but Jammy with the deagle downrange in the pool, doing a lot of damage, forcing them back into the hands of Tati, but Pocha actually takes it away. The connector push is good. And although NOFEAR5 have bypassed any of these adversaries by pushing up long, it's a 2v3, and a lot of those weapons are now in the hands of Pride.
They are, and this suddenly becomes a problem. The CT side with AKs is always going to be extraordinarily deadly, but I wonder if the trend continues. The NOFEAR5 just about hold on to this, even some close scenarios, but a tough one to make count. Elizabeth's going to post up a little bit further ahead. I'd like to see Fatal be a little bit closer to this to be at least somewhat supportive. Otherwise, this is going to be a bit rough. Yes, Fatal can watch this. What is Fatal watching? That is very bold to assume that no one would try and make maybe some presence noted, all in the hands of Elizabeth, and maybe have just seen the last one as well. Tati, all kinds of troubles, and Elizabeth just going wild right now. Very well played to Elizabeth.
I think Fatal DC'd. Yeah, I think she DC'd.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
And that makes it even more impressive, by the way, that Elizabeth effectively 1v3'd that round. Yeah, she held off everyone by herself.
I was a little worried. I'm like, okay, there's got to be some method to the madness why you've just baited your teammate. But you know what? It was a bit of a issue, and hopefully this gets resolved quickly. Bear in mind that I think Fatal was the one who was having issues beforehand.
Yep.
So this could be an extended problem. Hopefully it's not. We'll let you guys know as soon as we know, and obviously admin's on the case. Welcome to 2020, where we depend on the internet at home, and yep. Mate. When I first started, casting at home, I was like, sweet, my internet's not going down in months. Like, I'm golden. Literally, I get an email the next day. I'm just like, hey, so yeah, we're going to be doing some work on your internet connection. It should be, fixed up nice and quickly, but, might be a little inconsistent. I'm like, cool, I've just locked in some work. They're going to hate me. Cool. See you soon. Just casually disconnecting. But yeah, it is the way of the world.
Just things that you absolutely love to see.
It brings you joy.
Alongside modem issues, which is ultimately what the problem has been here for Fatal. Apparently, it is the exact same problem. So that does make me grimace a little bit, Lauren, because it took a while to fix it before. So let's hope it's resolved shortly.
And you've got to say, the issue is that it's not really in their control. ISPs be like, I'ma rinse you. So hopefully it gets fixed up nice and soon, and there's no, extended issues. We can just, waffle as long as you want. We could turn this into a podcast, Vince. We could just shoot the... Wait, production, you want me to do... You like that idea? Okay, cool. No, we're kidding. We're going to go to a short break, give the players the time to resolve this, get this fixed up, make sure it's all good to go, because clearly they're having some, extended issues. So guys, do stick around. And once again, thank you for your patience. We'll be back live as soon as this is fixed up.
Jolly old St. Nicholas, lean your ear this way. Don't you tell a single soul what I'm gonna say. Christmas Eve is coming soon. Now, my dear old man, whisper what you'll bring to me. Tell me if you can. When the clock is striking 12, when I'm fast asleep, down the chimney broad and black, with your pack, your cream, all the stockings you will find hanging in a row. Mine will be the shortest one, you'll be sure to know. Bobby wants a pair of skates, Susie wants a sled, Nellie wants a picture book, yellow, blue, and red. Now I think I'll leave to you what to give the rest. Choose me, dear Santa Claus, you will know the best. Jolly old St. Nicholas, lean your ear this way. Don't you tell a single soul what I'm gonna say. Christmas Eve is coming soon. Now, my dear old man, whisper what you bring to me. Tell me if you can. Whisper what you'll bring me. Tell me if you can. Whisper what you bring to me. Tell me if you can.
They were just stars in the sky till you came along and they started to shine. I never realized just what I was missing. They were just lights on a tree till they turned to a spotlight shining down on you and me. I never thought I could feel so in love. I just wanna fall into your arms this Christmas. I just wanna celebrate the gift you give. And you opened my eyes and brought down my guard. I let you in and you unwrapped my heart. You're the star on my tree. You make Christmas complete. I used to agree with the Grinch till you showed me just how beautiful Christmas is. Now you're the top of my list each December. I just wanna fall into your arms this Christmas. I just wanna celebrate the gift you give. And you opened my eyes and brought down my guard. I let you in and you unwrapped my heart. You're the star on my tree. You make Christmas complete. You make Christmas complete. I just wanna fall into your arms this Christmas. I just wanna celebrate the gift you give. And you opened my eyes and brought down my guard. I let you in and you unwrapped my heart. You're the star on my tree. You make Christmas complete. You make Christmas complete. La 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 la.
like a beast. No need to breathe. I'm like a beast. And no, and I have you begging, please. I never was a fighter. Held my tongue every time, but now I'm burning brighter. Now I'm lighting up the sky. I didn't show my weakness, even though it's on me. Oh, walking like I'm sleeping. Now I feel like waking up. I'm like a beast. No need to breathe. I'm like a beast. And no, and I have you begging, please. You won't lock me up, won't shoot me down. Don't even try. Won't lock me up, won't shoot me down. Don't even try. I'm like a beast. No need to breathe. I'm like a beast. And no, and I have you begging, please.
There's a way to change this world, so help me here and spread the word. Power to the woman. Too many men make up the rules, too many men. And we will stand our ground.
Okay, we're back, and hopefully the issues are resolved for Fatal. Obviously, kind of out of their control at the moment. Does suck. I mean, it is the way of the world right now. We put up with it. We deal with it. Similar to casting with me, Vince.
That was a hell of a segue, Lauren.
Yeah.
You caught
Yeah.
me off guard there. No, it's a pleasure. You know, we haven't casted together for a long time, and it's been like we
True.
never stopped. It's been a lot
Yeah,
of
it's
fun,
very
mate.
easy. You're quite good at your job. It's wild, almost. You know, who'd have
Who
thought?
are you? It's been strange, but yeah, Pride. They do have a 4-0 deficit, as we touched on before, even with a ridiculous 1v3 clutch from Elizabeth. And it feels like the roles have been reversed a little bit. We had a lot of sort of tension about Pride, or NOFEAR5, pardon me, on the nuke side, on their CT side. Just never really seemed to get going. I feel like Pride need to put up a bit of a declaration of intent here, come through with a really solid round, and force NOFEAR5 to respect them.
I do want to see what they have in store. Bear in mind there was a little bit of a difference here in the fact that at least the CT side have a decent purchase. It's far from perfect, but they at least have the AWP out, so that could be a bit of a difference maker. We have seen some very proactive plays, and it looks like already Tati's having a little look through as well, going to be trying to get some control building. So good information to maintain these three players on this A lane at the very least. So Jammy's got to know there's players coming her way, so she better ready herself. Tati, oh, this is a huge play coming out from Tati. Perfect timing. Knows there's more, could not back away in time, but damage done.
Oh, she's had huge impact again, as has often been the case, both on Nuke and early on here on Overpass. Fatal coming down through Connector. Utopia needs to hold on, does just that. Bomb drops again. 30 seconds, and NOFEAR5 maybe already with half a mind to pull the plug and back away. Their economy in no great shape. They have been really dealing with a lot of casualties over the last couple of rounds. They will be picking up the bomb, though, and if they did head towards B, actually, it's only Utopia's here.
But the time, Utopia just has to, as you said, stay alive. And with 6 seconds, nowhere to go. Bomb not picked up. It's time to keep hold of those rifles. Utopia could make it more costly. Will actually lose life for it more than anything, but 3 will stand for the CTs. And an excellent play. Again, that was a Tati round, straight up. Just the information garnered was huge, but then getting these 2 kills created a huge swing of momentum. And again, if you're not going to default, if you're not going to keep these CTs humble and locked into position to some degree, you're going to have problems. And it looks like that is indeed the case. We do have a timeout coming in case there wasn't enough time of us just filling dead air.
At least this time it's a tactical, though, Lauren. At least
we
this
take
time
these.
Yeah, we definitely take these. You know, this is geez, what's going wrong? How can we kind of plug in the gaps, as you kind of touched on? They've got to come up with some answers. So that's what this next 20 or so seconds is going to be all about. I don't know what their economy situation is looking like. I don't imagine it's too great.
No, I certainly haven't kept track as much as I'd like to for now. The T side has fashioned a buy, but it is Tech-9's and utility. It is still quite potent. There's a bit of danger to it for sure. There's still those 2 rifles maintained, so a little bit of a pack-a-punch to it, but for now I want to see what they go with. It does look like a hefty lean towards B. Maybe not as subtle as I'd like, but they're just going to power through. It looks like there's 3 players. Make it 4 for the CT side here. This should be the CT's round. They're in the right place at the right time.
And look at how much softened targets have been put in play from these Molotovs. The HEs and Utopias for mass sprays in for 3. Victoria's still alive, but she's being tagged up through the smoke, has no control over the bomb, so she can't even dip out and try and fake as if this is an 8. And therefore, Pride will certainly be favorites to take this round down. The only real question to be answered now is how much damage can Victoria do on her inevitable way out? If she can take a weapon or 2 away from them here, that could be worth its weight in gold, but a well-timed smoke put into place, and Victoria is going to bide her time and just wait, it would appear.
Yeah, 3 is normally the magic number. If you can cost the CTs 3 players, you're going to make that reinvestment a little trickier. But obviously Victoria's got 11 HP and a horrible scenario, as it looks like they are quite aware of the position now coming through. A little risky there, but another smoke invested. And yeah, Victoria now deciding if she does want to do anything with this, she'd have to take a very long and wide approach. But for now, maybe just considering where can I go to keep hold of this rifle itself.
All the way back to the playground, she'll be holding on to it. Not even an ideal rifle within the context of what's going to happen next. You'd like to have an AK over the M4. It allows you that potential to just go in for a one-tap entry frag. But, you know, you'll take it over nothing, Lauren, for sure.
Yeah. And that's the one bonus, I guess. So you have to kind of cut losses on this one. And again, Pride with a very good read, by luck or maybe just knowing NOFEAR5 quite well as to what they want to do. Maybe the switch up after the back of that good control towards A. They tried to go for an aggressive piece. Even maybe reading the economy might be a little bit lower. So maybe expecting the Tech-9s with armor. Whatever it may be, they had so many players here. And the thing you said that really stood out to me was the fact of the softened targets. There were so many easier kills. The Molotovs, the nades, the spam, all of it was landing. So it worked out incredibly well. And for now, you can see the trickle-on effect. It's going to be Glocks out, P250, and that saved over M4 for Victoria and a couple of smokes. It ain't much, but you know what? If they take away an AWP, that would be a lovely little treat. And honestly, a bit of trouble for Potier. Yeah, big trouble now. That AWP's going to be picked up and cycled back on through. So armor or not, definitely potent to play with.
It's an odd decision as well. If you know that the enemy have bad economy, like, why would you post the AWP up by itself, Lauren? That seems like such a strange decision for me.
Look, I'm questioning why Victoria has the AWP and Toria has the M4. I'd much rather see that switched back around to a player without armor and you have a little bit more sustain with that M4. Because as you highlighted, those one-shot headshots, they don't really come through with an M4. You don't get that same sort of fight. So, I get maybe Victoria's the better AWPer here, but it would have been nice to see maybe the using of the lack of armor in the most effective way, but putting a lot of pressure now on Victoria to make something happen with this. And it looks like Utopia will be dealing with the brunt of what's coming their way. They are very heavily invested on this still potentially being an A piece, so good luck, Utopia. It's very easy targets compared to normal, but it's still a lot of players potentially coming your way.
I feel like she has to get at least one kill before dropping back. The timing is grim, but she doesn't get punished. Molotov down to short to focus fully on Monster. How is she still alive? To get one kill out of that, there were two main moments. I thought she was just going to go straight down.
That's an atrocious bit of play. There's no two ways to put it. Timing was unfavorable, but just... you can't be playing like this. And now the retake is going to be horrific. One of the players is down to 38 HP already, so yes, the lack of armor will certainly still be a component in this, but Jammy would have to do a lot of heavy lifting and no step found. I can't believe we might see another round be lost to basically Glocks and one M4.
Yeah, that's the shocker from beginning to end. Posting up Pochia by herself without any kind of feedback or any support system in place. You just gift wrap a free AWP across to the adversaries, and then Utopia playing B alone. Like, very odd decision making across the board from Pride. And I do wonder if these sort of timeouts and this vast amount of downtime has kind of got into the back of their minds a little bit.
I find it very hard to watch these sort of rounds because, as you said, posting up an AWP on their own, one of the biggest problems for an AWPer is always going to be, you know, a bunch of pistols running them down because you simply can't put enough bullets out of an AWP. That's it. And putting them, as said, isolated like that or pushing up like that, I don't love the idea. Now, we do see aggression coming out from the CT side this time towards Underpass. And again, kind of complementing that towards Water, towards B, so they've pushed out very much so. So keeping control on the more centralized area of the map, so maybe able to be a little bit more mobile, a little bit more versatile in approach. But I want to see how meticulous NOFEAR5 are at clearing this out. Keep in mind, Elizabeth will be working through Underpass. That's going to be Pochia finding one. Jammy's now shown position. Did get one on the way. How is Dush not taking any damage there? Do not know. They believe that Molly would have cleared that, and they're in all kinds of trouble, but landing that shot was pivotal, and it just evades them. Victoria staying alive, just on 5 HP, but a 2v3 now.
Victoria must have a guardian angel watching over her. I have no idea how she wasn't finished off by Dushka, and then that second player that peeked in, down to 5 HP. That could have been the round-defining moment. As it stands, this is still open for debate. They have control over the bomb, 50 seconds to play with, and a weakened Pochia who has all their utility. So if she goes down, there's only a flashbang on Utopia. Now, they are playing Tati up close on the bathrooms with Pochia providing some overwatch from the back of the site. This does seem like it should be the crushing blow for NOFEAR5, but the timing may work against them. Smoke now deployed onto bathrooms, just shy of 30 seconds. To NOFEAR5 turn tail and go back towards connector.
They are playing blind to B almost. Utopia's pushed up but can't see the short play coming out the back, and a bit of a missed smoke it looks like coming through as well. Some issues being shown for the T's here. Should open up a much easier hold for the likes of Pochia and Tati, who's isolated the bomb. Very well played to Tati there to maintain composure. Bided the time perfectly well, and they will close out the round. Pride now with 3 on the board.
Yeah, good work from Pride, but NOFEAR5 have plenty of money to fall back onto again. In terms of spawns, there is a really good spawn here for Pochia to go for, so I would expect to see a peak middle again, or maybe down in connector. Had pretty much the best possible spawn for this. Whether she gets checked or not is an entirely different matter altogether. Goes straight in behind the molly, but misses her shot. Will have to fall back.
Yeah, this is going to be ground gained as well for the NOFEAR5 side. They're just powering through this, instantly negating all of that map control. And it looks like something NOFEAR5 does quite often. These deeper smokes towards the kind of banana and the stairs as well. It's something they've fallen back to quite often. Now, again, Tati's found a kill here. Now, that's big as well. That was towards B, so map control gets fed back over, and they keep that information that no one else is out this way. Poch's even capitalized a little bit. That was a bit of, we'll call it luck when it's through smoke like that, but good intuition and understanding of where the T's may be.
Yeah, especially when you see that many players headed towards the stairs, towards the balloons. Stands to the reason you expect them to try and explode out of connector or to try and take early control of a bathroom. So very well played from Pride. Much more like it after a pretty dismal round a few ago. That'll be a distant memory if they can really secure this round and start to get a solid economy behind them. Dashka may be very well up against it momentarily against Tori, who's edging round the side of Long, but goes in slow and gets punished. Jamie now can hold the line alongside Pochia. Very one-dimensional, missing the shot again, but at least Jamie is there to put the fatal blow onto Victoria, drop the bomb out into the open, and even though Elizabeth has already shown us she is an incredibly good player under this kind of pressure, it's unlikely that she gets much else done here from this position, Lauren, surely. There we go. Jamie's put it down.
Exactly that. Simple stuff, it feels like, just, you know, going through the motions now. They've kind of, it feels like they've stabilized slightly. But again, this is the one thing I find with a couple of these teams. I find it hard to find consistency. Outside of maybe Xset or a couple of others, I'm sure once, you know, I get to look at CLG Red, I'll say the same thing. It's hard to read full tendencies and if they can replicate some of the looks. Because as I said, sometimes NOFEAR5 look phenomenal. They'll go on a huge run and you're like, oh, okay, here's the big team. Right, no worries. but the same fundamentals, those foundations, just don't seem as solid to be able to replicate that consistently. However, this round, they'll be looking for, if they can get a plant, that'd be great. A couple of guns away, perfect. But, I mean, we've seen weirder things happen with pistols, and that's definitely going to be noted. Good read between Tati, Utopia, and even Pottier, I believe, noting that too.
Boosting, just making sure there's no extra players hiding or looking for a secondary boost spot. NOFEAR5 with just pistols, P250s, and a deagle. Once that smoke clears, Pottier will be favorite to hold it, but that's a good flashbang, at least forces her away. Utopia, who's typically been a B-sided player, will be there alongside it. There's 2 flashes gone in, one of them doing more harm than good. Pottier tossed in one alongside Tati. They didn't need 2, and now it's coming back to haunt them. Tori's taking damage, but she's at least held on for 1 dig. But Pride still have a player to the good. This round surely falls under their way again.
Yeah, it's certainly not clean. It's not something you're going to sit there and love to watch back, but some of these anti-ecos are so sketchy. But you're right, that second flash almost cost them. A little unnecessary potentially, but it maybe just badly placed, it felt like, at that point. Again, close affair between these two. Certainly going to be hard to kind of pin them apart, it feels like. But NOFEAR5, I do worry now that the more I watch them, the more I see them hitting a bit of a roadblock themselves. And they're a great team. When it goes well, you can see exactly why they are such a good team. But it's that consistency, that ability to kind of find that next elevation, that next adaptation that does sometimes evade them. However, for now, we have to wait and see. It once again looks like those similar smokes that we've seen coming down towards A when they do their A-lean. Pottier well aware now that there's at least a player here, and they've shown some intention towards it. So Jammy probably going to stay quite present. That's a much better flash there. Tati setting Dushka into motion. Fatal going to fall to that. And the adjustment through underpass. Now, this should be noted as Tati, yes, definitely spot this out. Does not need to overcommit now.
Now, you got the player advantage, or at least you did have for a few moments. But Chammy's taken all of this chaos, and she's tried to harness it into a forward position just behind Banana. So that early intel has afforded them a chance to stack 2 players over here, but in doing so, have they put themselves in an awkward position. Dushku has such a good angle, though. If this goes unchecked, it could be multiple frags. Shoots prematurely and gets insta-snapped on. How is Tori alive?
Tati needs to be the MVP again, and it looks like she might just be. Does so much damage, but just can't quite close down. And you're right, that could have been all for nothing. That looked like he was wrapped up, bow on it, done for, but no. NOFEAR5 somehow bail themselves that scenario. Jammy gives away the game towards short, spotting out a touch of Elizabeth's shoulder. But now working in, Jammy trying to find the player towards the side. Pottier clearing as well. Potential on the retake, but tough with the AWP. You can see the lines divided now. You can see the angles being controlled. Jammy trying to clear is going. There's the first bit of a fight. And now it's save time for Pottier. I've got to say it. The opportunity was there, Vince, and it kind of got thrown away.
It did. Dushka's going to be gutted that she couldn't do better with that situation. The fence saving the life of Tori. But at least I'm going to try and take some positives out of that. I think the way that Pride maneuvered themselves to get that early intel and had a really good read of the situation, that's impressive. The execution, not so much, but you saw them pivot into an angle where that round should have been theirs based off a really good read. It's just that their aim let them down.
Yeah, the theory was right, and I think that's a very good point. I like that push-up, and here's the error. Tori, to be fair, just backhands her, but you feel as though if they'd maybe bided their time, maybe the intent to bail out your teammate kind of encouraged and enticed the CT to try and bail into that, but still. We come back into this one very, very postured up CT side, and Victoria reading that like a book. That's just going to be frustrated at this, I'm sure, trying to make things happen, but simply feeding the machine of NOFEAR5. Tati information, but biting on this now. Spotted 2 players, can fall away. Pottier tries to find info. This CT side is very aggy. They're peeking into so many things. And we said before, if NOFEAR5 pull a default, right? Because Tati was pushing up, getting info. They just need to default out a bit. They will catch players off, and they are. This is a fatal flaw. For the Pride side, they're going to need an individual to deliver, but they are in the right place for this for now, and you can see the adjustment. NOFEAR5 is out of there.
Straight up, back to the A side. The correct decision. Tati will be posted up, but there's a Molotov in perfect position, and a smoke behind it. Funnels her and misdirects her onto bank. Well, there's another smoke waiting for her. Maybe a slight gap in there, though, that she can make the most of and get round the side of. Or perhaps not. Needs to wait for a teammate, whichever way you spin it. This is another very difficult ask for the two of Pride. They have no utility, and although they do have a kit, this is where you'd like to have an incendiary smoke or even a flashbang to explode back on with. And with Tati losing her head, Utopia now needs to deal with 3. In separate angles of aggression, there is no hope, and she will pull the plug. Another successful endeavor by NOFEAR5.
It's just me hearing music? Yeah, okay, that was very weird. 7-5. And NOFEAR5 have stabilized. I think catching that CT aggression has been a huge component of this. And again, there's the first blow and the second comes out as well. I know there's always that necessity of wanting that information, wanting to know where these players are, but it's such a fine and tricky balance to strike of, you know, keeping coordination, keeping it within the realm of not losing life needlessly. And sadly, they've been punished for this now. Still a respectable scoreline, but NOFEAR5 probably going to capitalize on this now and take it to 8, I'd feel here.
That's definitely looking like the most likely outcome, unless they run into the gauntlet of Utopia's AK. But because they've stacked all together on the bathrooms, it does look unlikely. Typically, as a T, you're only going to go in for these kind of positions if you don't have connector control. May feel a little bit more desperate. However, if Fatal goes down, there's maybe a way they can get their hands on a second rifle. It's a labored attempt. She goes down to 4 HP, but she thwarts 2 players in the process. About to get sideswiped, though, from an extra 2 CTs. So it's unlikely that she'll survive out of this round, but the fact that they've dealt with Connector means they can trade up a third in the form of Elizabeth, who goes down to the hands of Utopia. But I suppose it's pretty grim that I'm almost getting hype about potential exit frags, because this round is done. Like, it's already over, Lauren.
Look at that. So exciting, Vince. Utopia now, holding on with everything she has. Oh, you know, just one of those. We love to see it. Obviously, it's just exit frags, which is the biggest thing. And as beautiful as they may be, you lose to a Glock and you lose the round. It's how it goes. 8-5 now. NOFEAR5 starting to build back in. Now, map choice-wise, this was NOFEAR5, so you can expect a good T-side from them and, you know, showing diligence, and they are. Pride, I feel like they've kind of hit a limit. I do want to see what their next level of adaptation is. What do they have to fall back to here? Now, how much depth do they have on a map that we don't know much about them? Is Pottier just with a USP right now? No. Okay, there we go. I was like, wait, hold on. Okay, Orbs out. This is a hefty lean towards the B side, so that quite often aggression we've seen from the CTs may not actually be punished this time.
I do almost feel as well that the style that Pride have shown on this CT side may afford them a pretty decent T-half. I think they're going to be quite an aggressive, like, peak-heavy team that can definitely knock NOFEAR5 off their comfort zone. But I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. And they have to still get across the line here if they can put up 7. I think they're in a pretty good position. Dushka coming through with a flashbang, gets 1, but instantly traded, and it's gone from bad to worse. MRSK with 2, and they've lost their third and final player on B.
Oh, again, the aggression. It's good for 1, but the trades coming back in were so instantaneous. It feels like NOFEAR5 have a very good read on what Pride want to do. So Pottier and Jammy once again going to be called upon to go against the odds, and it does look very unlikely for a very good reason. Jammy, that side of the pillar is incredibly vulnerable towards you, so you've got to be very cautious. Pottier can grab the short cross, but it won't stop that bomb being planted. A bit of a tap away, but nothing going to come from it. And again, these scenarios, you're not getting much out of this.
Yeah, I'd almost like to see them save already. I'm not sure what the plan is to get some exit frags. Already the time is ticking away. You're in a 2v4. I mean, the audacity to even be peeking into this, I really do not like this at all, Lauren. And not just because they lost their head. I just the idea that they're still around at this point, like what the risk versus reward is so heavily tipped against you that I don't know why the hell you're not already away from the bomb site. Yeah,
I'm 100% with you on that, and I feel like this is a personification of the punishment we're seeing happening here. NOFEAR5, oh gosh, if they lost that orb, that would be troubling. However, they do keep hold of it. Pride have really hit a wall here, and again, the flash wasn't fantastic either. You're not going to clear out that position doing this, maybe with a pinch through underpass potentially. But as said, we've seen that this aggression, I like dashes of CT side aggression, you know, here and there. I don't like it consistently at these sort of times. Again, it does feel like NOFEAR5, yes, they're getting the bomb down and everything else, but they're winning the round even prior to that point. So again, here comes the aggression. Botcha now. Gonna have to be careful. Does have some support down here, though. Does have a fallback plan, at least for now. And once again, banking on these opening picks going their way.
Sad to see that Pochi's had a real fall from grace as well. Top fragged on Nuke on both teams, 23 and 17. And now she's having a rough go of it. Dushka extinguishes the Molotov just to keep herself alive, but she's down to 13 already. But there's the aggression finally taking shape. But we've seen them get the opening pick a few times and then throw the round away. As a result of playing this forward in Bathroom, they've completely given up long control. And now NOFEAR5 are making the most of it.
I love this read. Very well done. Now, I do want to keep my eyes on the bomb and how it approaches, because that's still a problem. If they wrap to B, that is filthy. Because obviously, you know, once your brain clicks into place for Pride, they're like, wait, Long's been open this whole time. We've not seen anyone. We've got to be worried about this. And they're right to be as such. But I quite like the concept of this wrap. It's going to be very hard to handle because surely the CTs aren't expecting this. You can see already the backs are available. They're open. But MRSK chooses against going off now, waiting, biding time. This is smart. You want it to be clean. Bear in mind that one of these players will be untouchable for now. One sat in the corner over by Monster could still stop this bomb. Utopia needs to go big. Gets one, but it's only one. And now the hit comes through towards B. And these post plants should be good for NOFEAR5.
Jamie can make moves through on Monster. With only an MP9, though, Tori already positioned perfectly to repel this two-player push. They may go for that boost again. If they do, it will be to their detriment. Beautifully placed flashbang, and Tori cleans up the rest, leaving just Jamie trying to close it off with the MP9. First kill goes her way, spots a second player, and will capitalize onto this second player, but no idea as to where Tori currently resided, and that's all she wrote for the first half. 10-5 it will be for NOFEAR5. Find out if they can convert after this break.
Snowflakes fall in the world is snowy and white. And Santa's coming to town and he's coming tonight. Christmas cheer and celebrations all across the line. This time of year of expectations, waiting for the man. Happy faces, we're all so merry and bright. Santa's coming to town and he's coming tonight. Christmas cheer and celebrations all across the line. This time of year of expectations, waiting for the man. Happy faces, we're all so merry and bright. Santa's coming to town and he's coming tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way, all the way, all the way on Christmas Day. Happy faces, we're all so merry and bright. Santa's coming to town and he's coming tonight. Yeah, storms in a helpful hand, broken bones in a bloodstained flag.
Oof. Oof. We are back. DreamHack Showdown Winter now. Second half of the second map. 10-5, NOFEAR5 leading at this point. Now, again, Pride felt like they missed a mark a little bit here for me, Vince. Sometimes it was there, you could see the theory. Other times it felt like needless aggression. But the T side, it could work for that potentially.
Yeah, it could. Maybe this aggressive, kind of unpredictable style will mesh very well with their T half. And I don't want to take anything away from NOFEAR5, but I felt like Pride were almost their own worst enemies on that CT side for some of the strange decisions they made. Smoke into Heaven, though, does afford them safe passage across the B, but it does appear that NOFEAR5 is set up for this retake. So it will be a 5v5 post-plant retake, although Pride are getting up close with a double player stack. This could be an absolute massacre, but it's gone against Pride. 3 kills in as many seconds.
All right, Tatty, no worries, just clutch it out. And you're right, those kills were in such quick succession. It's just Jammy left alive and so many players just flooding the site. Gonna take one, but no more to be done, and another pistol round going in favor of NOFEAR5. So this double-digit lead is gonna start looking a little scary. 11-5 now.
Yeah, a huge part of the puzzle needed to be the second pistol round. So they're now looking like, with post-plant, they got some options. They could go in for a buy, could afford some Galils, maybe even some AKs. But if they are unsuccessful with this force, if they do go for it, it puts them on the back foot. They decide against it, actually. So they're going to have a really good buy in the round following this, the 18th. But in terms of this one, Lauren, it's looking a little bit grim.
It is looking a little rough around the edges. There is still time for a turnaround, but this is going to be a massacre. Fatal just lines them up, knocks them down. No problem for Fatal now, back in the server, making it look so easy. There's just one left alive. No bomb plant to be seen, no guns to be taken away. And you can see the firing squad ready at the other side of the tunnel.
So 12-5 as expected, but here comes the purchase they're waiting for. Whether they go for a glass cannon, yet to be seen. I don't think that Pocha even has the funds if she wanted them. And she didn't have the greatest of games with the AWP on the CT side. I don't think that's an unfair assessment. So full AKs, full utility. I want to see some aggression here, Pansy. I want to see Pride take NOFEAR5 out of their comfort zone, as they did so many times on Nuke.
Let's see if we can maybe get a good round out of this. This is going to be the key one, I feel. If this goes astray, map 3 will be on the horizon. And there's the aggression down short, and it's gone quite well for the CT side. Yes, the bonus round has paid off so nicely for them. They can't get the AKs back, but they've done so much damage.
Huge amounts of damage. They've taken quite a bit on their own side of things, though. Tori down to 12. Bomb's still under control. That's the main important part of this. If Pride had lost the bomb down on short, they'd have wasted so much time and utility to replenish, having that under their control. Flashbangs now being tossed towards short to try and keep some of these CTs interested. Effectively just comes down to Victoria. She's on A alone, on an island of oncoming sharks. NOFEAR5, though, once these flashes and smoke start to dissipate, they may send a second player up there. I just don't know if they're going to have time to do it now.
It does feel like it's a little late, doesn't it? Anyway, see what they're waiting for now for the T. Smoke's coming in. Luckily for them, the CT side is very dedicated towards B. Really sticking it out here. So, Ollie's coming in. Site to be taken. Bombs in the hands and on the way for the site. It should be planted any second now, and it is. Now, this retake's a little different looking from what we saw on the other side of the coin. Freely walking in towards bank is never going to go well. Luckily, Jammy bails him out from underpass, but there's another player here. Nice readjustment from Jammy. Exactly the sort of presence of mind you expect, but now Fatal forced into a 1v2, Vince.
And she has no smoke either, so she has to just tap the bomb and hope for the best. She is isolating with that angle for one player, but Poch is not interested. Her teammate went to check the bomb, called, it was clear. Beautifully played by Pride. That's spot on.
Exactly what you want to be seeing. Nice little post plant like that. Good crossfire staying in. They can try and spread the wealth as well. It's a little on the low end, but the CTs aren't in a great spot either. They can fashion a good buy this round, or a decent buy, but it's not going to be perfect. But Jammy there, very well done, handling that little bit of a flank around the back. And there's Jammy swinging back in towards Fatal, supporting the teammate. So as you can see, rifles galore, Galil coming out to play, but we see the AWP for Victoria on the other side. Tori getting up close for a second, just delivering those nades. but then backing away.
Jump spotting from Fatal. Needs to be careful. Could have a head taken off, but that's information that's now been gathered. That grenade is going to chunk. Not only does it take damage, it also slows them down. They're stuck in position, and now that flank, that pincer can come into shape. But Pride actually weathering the storm and coming out ahead in terms of players.
Good late utility usage as well. This Molotov is denying Tori any step forward. Has to commit the smoke to it. Oh, rough spray there. Takes a bit of a chunk of damage herself. Nice flash, though. Fatal. The one to set Victoria in motion with the AWP there, blinding out Utopia. And now a 2v2, and it looks like they're up for this. Now, there's no kit on the CTs, and I don't know if there's one on the site, so this could be kind of hard to play into. And we said the money's rough for the CT side, so keeping hold of these guns could be paramount to their success in the future. There should be 7 on the board now for Pride.
And indeed there will be. And I also love that NOFEAR5 have not necessarily learned from Pride's mistakes. I don't think they were ever going to make them in the first place. But remember that Pride went in for a retake in a 2v4. A very similar situation, economically speaking. They went in, they lost their guns. They struggled, they suffered. NOFEAR5 instantly pulled the plug. That affords them more opportunities. And of course, it keeps Pride honest.
Certainly does. So, say not out of the woods yet, though, for Pride. That was it was a brutal round. Those two are just kind of, you know, taking chunks out of each other. Luckily for Pride, they were able to stick the landing. And they have broken the economy, at least for now, off the back of it. NOFEAR5 are going to have to rebuild their funding. And they do at least maintain the AWP on Victoria and Tori with the M4. So, looks like I quite like them using this in quite a proactive way. It looks like, oh, say goodnight. Tatty just outdoes them. Sees another. Jammy's there. No problem. That's one of the big 2 guns now gone. Make it a 3rd. This round should be theirs.
MRSK tries her best to go for that wall bang, but actually comes out worse for wear, down to 22. Now Pride changing up their approach, headed towards the A side. I'm expecting that NOFEAR5 keep Elizabeth alongside MRSK to play somewhat of a bodyguard, maybe try and pick up a weapon and just hold on to this AWP again.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a time for rebuilding. I wonder if that M4 is still down. Okay, it wasn't policed by the T's. I guess they were in more of a mood to try and get that bomb down and play as meticulous as possible. You can see these other two just going to try and keep themselves alive. And for NOFEAR5, there is something to be said about just kind of constantly being left with 2 players and having to have these weaker purchases around it and constantly having to save and putting you in a very passive posture. But Tatty fancies taking that away. 2 kills already. I still think that Tatty's value to some of the kills that she gets is fantastic. I really like how she's been approaching this. As I said, maybe not your headline player, but when she does that, looks kind of good. MRSK now going to be on red alert. Uh-oh, that's a bit scary. Yeah, very well done by Tatty there. Going to take down those 2 big guns that could have really complemented and potentially supplemented the economy staying a little bit stronger. Now, it's going to be a buy, but it's not going to be a great one.
Yeah, you hit them on the head on both points there. Like, first off, Tatty's entry fragging is a marvel to watch. She is so aggressive. It's great to see just how aggro she is, and it's almost like she's that X factor, right? Like, you're in one of those weird rounds where you need to break the deadlock. It's just like, Tatty, just go kill them.
Get in there.
Yeah, you do Tatty things. Just get in there right now.
Oh, aggression. Good flash from the T side, though. Whoever set that into play again, Tatty. You said it so well, and this is again the personification of her. Bear in mind, that was 2 players pushing down short quite aggressively, trying to get into that. Her effective trading while also maintaining 60 HP is very impressive. Now, the final players are mostly tucked towards this B side. Of course, Fatal a little aggressive here, trying to maybe get some information, but she might be on the receiving end of a Tatty special. What to be this time? I love this name so much. It brings me such joy. And honestly, in 2020, if that's the case that brings me happiness, perfect. But we have seen these takes from Pride. They are very meticulous in going to these sites, even in a very favorable scenario, which I don't mind. They will invest all their utility. They'll do everything they can, but the slowness could cost them here, Vince. Look at Fatal's positioning. This could be a problem.
Yeah, this is effectively like 2 separate 1v4s. Victoria, she'd do well to just stay alive. If the idea is to try and win this round, she needs to wait for Fatal to get in close, but Fatal's been picked off, divided and conquered. Pride with 9. And keep in mind that NOFEAR5 have picked up effectively 5 or 6 rounds off the back of pistols. When it's come to rifles, Pride have been head and shoulders above them.
I'm glad you brought it up on that previous side that stylistically we saw Pride with a very aggressive stance on a CT side and somewhat misplaced at times. I think that's a fair assumption or a statement to be made. But now on the T side, it looks quite good with them. Now, at this point, we do see the nades coming out, so a nuke going to be sent down towards Potya. Ooh, I thought she was going to be half, but no, 37 HP. Bit rough. Does put the AWP in a spot of bother, and now Jammy's going to be the one on the receiving end of far too much attention, I imagine. MRSK not quiet here. Yeah, Jammy well aware that someone's around, but I guess it's, pick your poison. Jammy, how low is your sensitivity? God damn! That was just that slow sweep. But by this point, the bomb is planted, and they can keep that AK.
Yeah, that AK being picked up could be significant going through into the next round. So I think Jamie will be disappointed. She's played a really good last couple of maps. Expected her to do better. But Pride will be at the all-important double digits. NOFEAR5 will now start to feel that presence behind them. I wonder if they call a tactical timeout up next. They're going to have a bye. And I feel like you probably want to try and course correct before things get too out of control.
I think that's a really good point, is course correction. And this is what scares me, though, because I got to see the previous series with NOFEAR5 where they've had advantages, but they can't... Once things kind of get thrown against them, as said, that adaptation, that little, turn of events, that next level coming out from the other team, they don't seem to have that way to change it back up. And as said, we've had some very close games from them, and I worry this could be a constant factor. However, this is a really good purchase. So they have that full buy finally coming in. Victoria on the AWP, you've got every bit of, all the goodies, all the bells and whistles, as to the T's, of course. Now, the AWP battle always going to be quite defining at the start. Victoria deciding to back away, opting that maybe they want to play a little deeper from the site this time.
Yeah, that position has a sell-by date. You know that if you don't have connector control, you're very susceptible to getting wide swung and just picked off for free. The damage is done again. It's Taddy that gets the first. He will go down, but that's another huge entry, and Utopia now picks up the slack. She puts bullets down range. A barrage of them connect. The bomb's now been dropped out. I was going to say she lives to tell the tale, but actually Potya was there waiting with the AWP. Good frag on the approach from Victoria onto Dushka. I'm a bit surprised he actually went for that wide swing without a smoke being deployed first.
Yeah.
1v2 though.
I didn't like that. I really didn't like that. I was saying they were meticulous before, but that little error gave him a chance, and that shot looked so close. Victoria now. Position, though, noted. Forced forward by the Molotov. She's kind of in no man's land. A horrible position. Oh, stepping in towards Potya. Potya is not going to let that slip. And controlled in the end. But you're right. A step was missed, I feel, for the T's there. They could have been a little bit more careful. Utopia bailing them out with some big boy shots coming through. And I want to see what the money's like here, because again, it's going to be kind of here, there, and everywhere. It looks like a couple of players on maybe 3K or around that, and some others on 6. So I do want to see how they try and maybe even this out a little, because they've hit a bit of a roadblock, it feels.
Yeah, and for me, this timeout is around too late. You're calling a timeout where your economy is not great. It's not stabilized. I'd have preferred this the round before. I think they could have done a little bit more with it, gave them a little bit more time.
I'm with you there. And yeah, the buy is going to be kind of like what's on our screen, the garbage can, just floating past. It's kind of pants. They can stack out a site. Bear in mind, we have seen some of these teams really struggle with their anti-ecos, keeping it clean and not falling foul to stacks or any, naughtiness. Do we have the triple stack? No, it's not. It's just 2. Early good damage, though. Tease on the receiving end. Potcher's going to find 1, but yeah, there's still damage. Tatty! What are these shots from her? Just spins around like, nah, Tori. Not today. Absolute nutcase.
Maybe the other side of the coin, though. She is incredibly good and very snappy with her aim, but maybe sometimes a bit too aggressive. Staying by while her teammates still hadn't fully built a foundation outside of long to quickly pivot onto the A site could be an issue, and that's an extra weapon that could be salvaged if NOFEAR5 push in to reclaim it. So although this round started well for Pride, and they should still on paper win it, it is at least open for debate.
Have a look what they do with this. Now, keep in mind, those rifles haven't been recovered. They still have the pistols here, so it's the choice they made, I guess, to be here in somewhat decent time in their mind. But you can see the kind of hunting squad of Jammy and Pottia trying to clear the site, but you can see how quiet these CTs are being. They're giving away nothing. The mollies, the nades, they all come flying in, but the kill comes out. Elizabeth is being a true pain. Pottia trying to bail him out, but it's going to be a 1v2. That's going to be Dish going to find one, but still has to find Elizabeth, who's good for 2 kills. 23 seconds. She has to go for this.
Health is pretty similar across the two of them. She's not sure where the CT's gone. Elizabeth, who pulled off a 1v3 clutch earlier on this very bomb site, now coming back in, running towards Dushka, who holds on for dear life. And Pride continue their winning ways. The big sigh of relief from Dushka's over there. She's like, jeez, that was way too close.
Just the thundering back in. Just, that round scares the life out of me. And yeah, anti-ecos are not good for either of these teams. The amount of times we've seen like a Glock train with a P250 doing like unreal damage, or you know, rounds like this, it has been rough. But 12-12 are all tied up here, and I really didn't think we would be. I thought NOFEAR5 had kind of gotten over those jitters that I'd seen in their previous games, in the previous map even. They looked very solid on that first half, but here it's looking lackluster to me. And Fatal, you're going to get your head ripped off if you keep doing this. Yeah, you don't get to do that twice. Tatty's already proven that you don't get to do that twice. And even a wallbang going to keep Fatal low. Now, obviously, unconfirmed damage, but nonetheless damage.
It was 12-5. 7 rounds in a row for Pride on their T half. Has been that one-sided, that detrimental. NOFEAR5, you mentioned about them kind of going off the boil, off pace. That's definitely been the case here, as Tatty this time comes out second best in an opening trade. That feels like the first time on Overpass. Maybe that's NOFEAR's chance.
Yeah, this could be it. This could be the window of opportunity. A nice Molotov, good presence from Victoria, biding time for rotations. Fatal's now over here. The smokes are all going to cost a little bit of that punch for the T's. They might have to reconsider their approach because they've lost map control. With Tatty going down, they have no idea about the rest of the map. So taking back this space is actually going to be pretty tough. Now you're going to see Pottia put into play when someone opens the door for her. Oh my word, that was swift. Very, very fortunate to hit that just on the corner. Tori just backed away. Now Jammy, oh, the positioning. They've punished these rotations and these aggressive gambles. But who is it? MRSK is pushed up by Monster. But look at the bomb. It's heading back round towards A.
Do they even have the time for this?
I don't know.
This is going to be cutting it incredibly close. 5,
don't block,
4,
don't block.
They've got
Oh
time.
my God.
Just by the thinnest of margins, they've got the bomb plant down. And with NOFEAR5 opting to try and save, they'll probably just fully invest behind that decision. So they're going to go save those 2 weapons. Pride cutting it by the narrowest of margins. I've got to give them credit, Lauren, but I was scared.
Nah, no one calculates that. Like, if anyone's telling me that's calculated, you're lying. You are parlously lying. That was... No. I'm not okay with that. Yeah, you can smile now, but no. How dare you? You know that was close. You know that was too close. That was on the buzzer. That's a ref decision coming in. But it is going to be 13 on the board. Yeah, a big oof coming in. You know, it's nice to have the spirit of Potter here sometimes. It just, you know, I feel like I need it in my life. 13-12, Pride continuing to stride forward now.
And there's always 2 sides to a story. On the one hand, Pride are going to be all smiles, and on the other side, NOFEAR are going to be all grimaces. That's 8 rounds in a row. That's a round where they may have felt that they just out-timed Pride completely, and then suddenly, oh, wait, what? They actually got a plant down? Okay, then. So they've got to somehow... I don't even know how you detox from this, Lauren. I'd be full-on tilted.
Let's find out. Let's see if the tilt's in place, because they are not going to expect the timing up short. Luckily, that Molotov just comes in. Tatty's burning alive. Nice little roasted potatoes coming out, ready for Christmas. Going to back away from short. And yeah, this B lean feels like it's been read, and there's the freebie. Fatal this time does find Tatty, who is already kind of, as said, roasted and crispy from that initial Molotov. So this is the first time we've seen that really clean opening happen for NOFEAR5. But if Victoria gets caught off here, the rest of the map's completely open. This is a 4-play stack towards B, so Victoria has to live.
She does, but it's only short-lived. She dropped the bomb down, so that's information they can now trade across a couple of those players. But Utopia, lurking in the shadows of short pipe, deals the fatal blow onto Elizabeth. With 45 seconds, they can't now fully invest those 2 players from B over on A. For all they know, it's all a ruse, and they're coming down connector to join that first player in. Flashbang hurts the T's just as much as it does Fatal, and she holds on, and a second kill alongside it leaves Pochu in a 1v3.
It was a little rough there. That shot's not, though, crisp as anything, clean. But left with 7 HP and a post-plant to deal with. No big utility for the CTs, though. Puts down a molly and stays firm. She doesn't want to back away yet. She wants to get one and then fade, but doesn't get gifted that chance. Has a quick glancing look towards Bank, but these two players surely will combine and make it incredibly hard to play this out with the AWP. But let's see if Tori and MRSK can close this out as they should. Finally break the run, but oh my god, Pocha might do this. 7 HP in a dream at this point. That is sloppy play on the repeat there. Didn't need to dip down so readily, but MRSK just about keeps this safe, and NOFEAR5 finally get one back on the board.
Oh, jeez. Nice try. And the effect that will have on the economy as well, by the way, is I feel like the CTs are about to put all of their pennies, all of their pounds into this round. So they're in a very dodgy position again. From here on out, probably for the rest of the map, Pride should have buys coming through thick and fast. NOFEAR5 have at most $800 in their bank balance. This is a very important moment in this best of 3.
We'd seen that pick coming in cleanly. This 4-play stack towards B again. NOFEAR5 are fully investing into this. Oh, and that's a huge pickup. Tori's gone down. That's massive. And now the double stack towards Monster is isolated. They're down by themselves, so crossing over gets tricky because they've lost control of short. You're banking on Fatal to keep you safe. While this happens, Victoria is clearing through long, but again, they've been punishing the rotations. They've been catching the aggression. Pride now have the early start. MRSK, you wouldn't. What are you doing? What are you doing? How has she done this? Where's the trade? There is no trade. Tati, the only one to put up numbers. That was dismal from the T's. That should never have happened.
A weak Tachi gets finished off, and although Elizabeth also is weak, they've got Victoria making moves round via connector. A fulcrum point round is now slipping away from Pride. They had their chance. MRSK should have been punished, let alone not getting a kill. The fact that she got 2 and did tons of damage to Tachia is a crime. And now, NOFEAR5, they are in the lead. They've actually put 2 rounds together out of nowhere.
I am baffled that MRSK gets away with this. 1, okay, fair enough. The second, and almost a third. Tati eventually got around to, land in that spray correctly. I mean, credit to MRSK to just being so bold, but I just feel those risks have been punished throughout this game, so almost smacking your head against the wall. Now, keep in mind, this has been a 4-player stack towards B, so throw Tati back at this. Keep her being there. Condition this CT side to respect that there's going to be someone here and keep these potential 4 players present. Victoria, though, posted up on long. This time we'll find Utopia, so they know this isn't that same hit we had last round.
Yeah, there's a different take on it, but they don't have connector control. That's been Chami or Dushka's job for the most part. So as long as they don't have connector, they don't really control the center of the map. They can't be sure as to anything. Elizabeth goes in for the peak, but it's down to Tati again. 23 kills, each and every one of them so impactful, but Elizabeth on the drive-by takes the head clean off with a FAMAS.
Surely this is 15. A 5v3 is not something you often see for quite good reason. Mistakes have to be made. Opportunities have to be presented to these 3. Victoria committing that last smoke. Flash as well. 40 seconds now. Victoria getting a little aggy on this one. Getting quite curious, maybe. And Tori pushing up into that smoke as well. This is very bold. And now with that molly coming in, there's a horrible surprise waiting, but it's Victoria taking all the attention. And while Tori waits, this is going to be it. Surely this is the final stand, and it is. 15 rounds now posted. NOFEAR5 just want to bring the game as long as possible. We're going to take you to the longest possible rounds, and hell, maybe even OT awaits. But it's their turn now to try and get over this finish line. They've finally come up with an answer, but my God, was it late in the day.
Oh, yeah. 8 rounds in a row Pride picked up on their T-half before we got these last 2 posted up from NOFEAR5. It's still another buy, but a MAC-10 and a couple of Galils in the mix. Fatal taking the swing. And I've gone in for a double up setup. Mainly Victoria's been having a lot of the opening picks when it comes to the sniper rifle, but going unchecked. Smoke now put into place. Fatal giving away that at least one of the ops is over on this vicinity of the map. At Pride, seemingly like they're putting all of their eggs in this B basket again. They have no connector control. All 4 players outside about to hit it.
This is sketchy. See that utility being flooded in, but the T's have very little to work with themselves. One smoke, a Molotov, that gives away the game. Fatal being kept humble here, unable to find those moments to really strike, but Utopia's going to soak the nade. 50 HP now, and 4 players still dedicated towards B. They are not floating the additional one back towards A. This is so risky from both sides. I hate this.
Yeah, it really is on a razor's edge, isn't it? And it's odd to me that Pride haven't read that there's 4 players on B most of these rounds, and they're not trying to hit A a little bit quicker. But they may very well fall on that B sword one more time. Tori, first player to fall, gets burned alive, and now the onslaught comes in. The molly is picking all of them away. Elizabeth spins around, last bullet in the magazine is good for the kill. But Dash is still alive, but not for much longer. NOFEAR5 take it down. We're headed to train.
Oh dear. You know what I love about Counter-Strike, Vince? All the rounds, all the maps, no OT though that time. So I'm hoping the next map does indeed take all the rounds possible, and obviously Train will be coming up next. I am baffled that game went the way it is. Do you know what I can't wait for? Potter to tactically break down everything, to really get into the nitty-gritty there, the mindset coming in, the tactical prowess. I can't wait for it. So let's get to that break so we can get to hear it even faster.
Well, a close game in the end, although not really, but a game of 2 halves, I guess you could say, Potter. It was a bit of an odd one, and I think you were almost switching your opinion on the match every couple of minutes in the green room.
It was definitely back and forth, and I think a tale of 2 halves is just placing it perfectly, right? We just saw a dominant T side coming out for both squads. There's Loki making her presence, making this pain that I'm feeling right now a little bit less.
She says hi.
You could say you're not necessarily feeling pride in this moment, but it's a bit of a rough one. I know that we of course have a fair few rounds to break down, Miss Harvey. Do you need your hands for your breakdown? Should I go to Potter first and ask her to have a look at your
let me
rounds,
just
or are we
swap her. You know, there she is. She's swapped. You know, she's been a bad girl. She was yelling, so we had to carry her. No, I'm ready for that replay. Let's get right into it. You know, there was a crucial moment where we all thought that NOFEAR was running away with the victory. But if I take a look at the board here that I have, this was round number 18, I believe. And this is where NOFEAR pushed short here. They were able to get a kill. They ended up in favor of these trades. It was a 4 versus 3 for them, and it took a long time in that round. So let me fast forward a little bit. It took a long time for Pride to decide what to do, but they ended up choosing A in that situation. And look at Jammy's awareness. She keeps map control. She is here getting ready to kill Elizabeth and Tori. And while we know we saw Dish kind of suicide here towards Bank, that 2v1 was an easy trade to be happening here with Jamie and Putty. And that 3K round here for Jamie really almost won them the map, I'm gonna say, because right after that, it was 12-5. They won that round to 12-6, and it ended up being 13-12 in their favor at some point, just because of that Jamie 3K.
Yeah, it was a turning point for sure, a streak of rounds, as you mentioned. But I guess, Potter, it then came down to what was a few almost hero plays on the other side, like some ridiculous aggression that we saw out. I know that you have a highlight or two of your own coming out of MISK, which we were sort of watching that round and thinking, how on earth did she get away with as much as she did?
Yeah, no business getting the spray down that she actually did. But again, another turning point here. MRSK just peeping through. Paudia had an AWP in her hands, mind you, but she gets away with murder. And just the fact that she gets 2.5 kills here was just a nail in the coffin. And this was the faltering coming out for Pride here. And I have to hop on the Steph's train here about Jamie because she was fantastic, not only in map 1, but in map 2 as well. Her decision making, her angles, everything that she's doing right now is keeping Pride in this game and making things competitive. And the fact that she has 100 ping, we were discussing it in the green room, the fact that when she's spraying, you can actually see the lag coming through, but she's able to do work in that server right now. So going on to this map 3, I still have faith. I still have faith in Pride. I think Train is going to be a little bit more straightforward. We always talk about it. Overpass is such a large map. You got to have some of those plan Bs in order to actually get over the finish line. So this time around for Pride on map 3, they should have a better look, I think.
Well, I think that's the thing that excites me, especially. Both teams, they've been fairly aggressive so far. The CT side ended with some pushes coming their way, and now we have Train, a map that is all for that aggression. Of course, we've got a small break to come, but then we're going to go back to the wonderful duo of Vancy. We'll see them after the break.